Hey guys, it's Scarlet here. I hope you're doing well, and if you are new to my channel, I post weekly videos about tarot, paganism, and magic. So if you are interested in those topics, do please take a moment to like and subscribe. And I do need to apologize for the sound of my voice right now. I caught a cold on my flight back from Italy, so I am still recovering, but I wanted to go ahead and make a video for you guys. Just a really chatty video about my trip, and then also I have an unboxing for you guys from a company called Urban Pulse. So I just got back for my first time in Italy, and I have been to Europe several times before. I don't know if you know this yet, but I used to live in Prague. So I lived in Prague for a little over a year, and then while I was there, I got to travel a lot, but I hadn't made it to Italy yet. So this past 2 weeks was my first time in Italy, and for me as a tarot reader and a tarot instructor, it was so amazing to come to what I view as really the birthplace of modern tarot. And I only visited 2 cities in Italy. So I started in Rome and then I went to Florence. So I wasn't in the main hub of kind of tarot history, which is more in the northern part of Italy. But I still did get to see some interesting tarot things while I was there, and also a lot of kind of interesting pagan things, because when I was in Rome, I was absolutely amazed by the just sheer quantity of preserved statues of the Roman gods and goddesses, and also just the fact that you can be just wandering around Rome and you'll stumble across, oh, this is this temple, you know, to Zeus, and these are the remaining columns from this temple, and seeing the Forum was wonderful, seeing the Colosseum, and seeing the Pantheon too. It was such a huge structure, so wonderful. And it's interesting too, as I learned a lot about the city of Rome, how much the Catholic Church incorporated kind of aspects from the ancient pagan temples. So, well, one of the most obvious examples is the Pantheon, which is the most probably well-preserved structure from pagan Rome, and they basically just, you know, took out the statuary of the 3 gods that the Pantheon was originally dedicated to, and then replaced it with Catholic statuary. So it's interesting being in a building that was constructed in ancient Rome, and the doors are even from ancient Rome, and then you see kind of all this kind of Catholic stuff there. But that turned out to be a theme to a lot of the churches that I saw in Rome. It was fascinating to see how you would walk into a church and there would be all these stunning marble columns. And I later learned in one of the tours I went on that a lot of the marble was repurposed from ancient temples. So you could like actually see all of these amazing marble structures that have just been kind of broken down or reformed in a Christian context, I guess you could say. So you would see it in even in the floors. Some of the floors in a lot of churches in Rome were made out of a mosaic that was created from shards and pieces of various marble columns throughout the city. And the floors too sometimes were taken, the whole mosaic floor was taken from an ancient temple or a ancient Roman home and put inside of a church or inside of the Vatican. So that was really interesting too, to see just how much the interplay and the incorporation there was between Christianity and the ancient pagan deities within the art in the city of Rome. And it was just interesting too, because of course I went to the Vatican. I guess they let a witch into the Vatican. Obviously I didn't look super witchy when I went, but I was a bit nervous if they could sense something. But anyway, so I went to the Vatican and I finally got to see the Sistine Chapel, which was huge for me because I studied art history back in college. So it was always something I wanted to see. But then, you know, when you look closely at the images that Michelangelo painted, you see how much mythology really did interplay with Christianity. Like, for example, there is a giant painting on the ceiling, or the side of the ceiling, of an oracle. On the main kind of piece on the wall called the Last Judgment, there's a lot of Greek mythology references. For example, there's I probably pronounced it wrong, Chiron, the man that ferries the dead into the underworld. And then instead of choosing Satan to represent kind of hell and the underworld in that section of the painting, they actually used King Minos, an ancient king of Greece who was kind of later deified. So really interesting how much interplay there was between Christianity and the older pagan faiths. So that was fascinating. When I was in Florence, I did learn some interesting tarot facts. One of the more morbid things that I discovered was we went to an old town square in Florence, and one of the buildings on the perimeter of the town square, it used to be a prison or a jailhouse. And on the side of the building, they would hire artists to basically paint wanted posters. And sometimes they would paint the man that was wanted upside down, being hung from his ankle. And does that remind you of any particular tarot cards? So of course, the Hanged Man, right? So some believe that this is the origin of the Hanged Man image of a man being hung from his ankle upside down. And their thinking was, the jailers, well, it was kind of a further insult to the criminals, saying, you're not even good enough to be hanged by the throat, we're gonna hang you by the foot when you get here. So that was kind of a more morbid but interesting tidbit I learned about the history of the Hanged Man card, which is a very complex card. It has a lot of different meanings, but it's always fun to kind of uncover new pieces of tarot history. So that was just a bit about my trip to Italy. I would love to hear from you guys if you've also been to Italy, if there were any specific places connected to tarot history that you visited, because I'm already thinking about planning a trip maybe next year, maybe the following year, just focused around tarot history. So I'd love to hear about some of the spots you went to when you visited Italy. And of course I did all the touristy stuff too, like the Trevi Fountain and the Spanish Steps, but I wanted to fit in a little bit of, you know, pagan history and tarot history while I was there too. So on to my unboxing. So I have a small collection of items that I got from Urban Pulse, which is kind of a skincare slash apothecary brand. I would say they sell a lot of like soaps and candles and with a lot of natural ingredients. And I'm always kind of sourcing items from kind of more companies that are focused in around natural ingredients. So in here, I'll kind of just show you what I got. It looks like I have a card stating what's in here. I have their business card. So this company is out of Baltimore. And then I have 4 items in this box here. So the first item is an orange pomander body butter. So especially this time of year, my skin gets super dry. So it's always nice to have like a body butter or a lotion. Let me just, oh, it's very intensely orange saturated with that smell. It smells great. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be using a lot of this. And it's got the ingredients right on the label here. So the next thing in this box is a aromatherapy oil. And this actually has a little piece of what is that, lavender in there? I think it's lavender. And yes, it says on the ingredients there's lavender, blood orange, bergamot, and a sweet almond oil. So let me see how that smells. Oh, that smells good. I wish I wasn't sick right now because I'd be able to smell a lot better, but I caught a cold on the flight back home, which happens. It was like a 10-hour flight, so I was bound to catch, you know, a cold on that one. And then I have a bath fizz, I think. Let me see what it says about this. Okay. Citrus bath fizzy, an aromatherapeutic blend of lemongrass and tangerine essential oils. Use this energy boosting mixture to cleanse and remove impurities, leaving your skin soft and moisturized. So that'll be fun to use. And then the last item, which is probably I'm most excited for, is this really large soy candle. And the scent is frankincense and myrrh. Which, oh god, I just love that earthy scent. I'm really into more kind of masculine, earthy, smoky, woodsy type scents as opposed to floral scents. So this is absolutely lovely, and it's got a wood wick, so it's going to make that nice crackle sound. So it'll be really cozy, put on top of my mantle here with my fireplace. So yeah, I just wanted to show that unboxing for you guys, and I'm really glad to just check in and see how you all are doing, because I know it's been a couple weeks because I've been out of country, but I promise to get back into my regular schedule of posting at least one video a week. And speaking of which, Samhain is coming up, and I want to hear all of your plans for Samhain. I personally am planning on decorating my altar this year with a lot of autumnal items. I usually use pumpkins, gourds, like here I have a couple pumpkins, gourds, and some Indian corn. So I always decorate my altar with autumnal items like that. And then I always add photos of family members that have passed on, because Samhain's really a time to celebrate and honor the dead. So I always place photos of those in my family that have passed on as a way to honor them this time of year. And I actually have a video that I made last Samhain, just kind of about the Sabbath, different traditions, different ideas of things to do. So I will post that in the description as well, so you can check that out. And the unboxing I did from Urban Pulse, I'll put their link to their website in the description down below in case you want to check out their products. So I am so glad to be back and chatting with you, and also let me know if you have any video ideas that you want me to cover or topics you want me to go over. I love to hear your suggestions in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.